Good morning, dear children. So, today we are going to start with the fifth chapter of First Flight, that is the 100 Dresses, Part 1, which is written by El Besor Esther. About the author, El Besor Esther is a renowned author. She is known for her children's stories. The Hundred Dresses is one of her famous writing. Some of her famous work include Ginger Pie, the Moffat series, The Echoing Green, The Alley and many others. She was awarded the Newbery Medal for her writing The Ginger Pie. Let's start with the chapter The 100 Dresses 1. So before I start explaining you the chapter, I just want to give you a overview of this chapter. That means what we are going to do in the chapter. So this is a very beautiful story, and this is based on discrimination and the judgmental attitude of people in and around us. Judgmental attitude means how we judge people, those who are in and around us. Do we judge them on the basis of their wealth, on the basis of their status, on the basis of their dress, etc.? And this story has touched a very sensitive issue, that is bullying in schools and institutions, which is very prominent. In our schools also, many children face this, but they don't have the courage to come up and speak about it. So it has touched a very sensitive topic, and this is about a Polish girl. Polish means a girl from Poland, whose name is Wanda Petronsky, and she is a poor girl, and she is accompanied to school by some of her American friends, and how they look up to her and how they treat her. This is the story all about. So let's start with the chapter now. Today, Monday, Wenda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. Room number 13 was their classroom. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So on Monday, she didn't turn up for the school, and none of them noticed her. Not even the two girls who used to wait for her, or with whom she used to come to school, they too didn't notice her, that she hasn't come to the school. And whenever she come to the class, she used to sit on the last seat in the last row of the room number 13, and she used to sit with the very naughty boys of the class, who never used to study, who never used to get good marks. They only create problems and nuisance in the class. They used to scuffle their feet. Scuffling means making due to, since their shoes were full of mud, so they used to drag the feet, make irritating noise out of it. Vanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. It was not that she was very rough and noisy or notorious kind of girl. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And she does not belong to those kind of boys. She was very quiet, and very quiet girl, very shy kind of girl. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth in a crooked sort of a smile, but that was all. So she was basically a very shy and a quiet girl. Nobody has ever heard her laughing on the funny things or disturbing the class. She only sometimes she used to twist her mouth in a very crooked way. That's all. Nobody knew exactly why Vanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. Though she was not at all like those notorious boys. Still, the children of the class used to wonder why she used to sit on that seat. The children only speculated कि since her shoes were covered with dry mud, so it's maybe possible she comes from Boggins Height. Boggins Heights, it's a place where the poor people used to live. And once she is seated in the class, nobody notice her because she used to be very quiet in the class. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours, at noon time when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of two or more, or three or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Then sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. So they the only time when they used to think about Vanda is once when they are going home, or once when they are coming to school in the morning and in the afternoon. Otherwise, two three girls used to go to school and they used to chit chat together, they used to laugh together, and they look for Vanda only so that they can make fun of her. The next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. That means on Tuesday also, her absence went unnoticed. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Vanda wasn't there. So on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, they noticed that Vanda was absent. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her, and she just hadn't come. They often waited for Vanda Petronsky to have fun with her. And why they noticed? Because they were waiting for Vanda to come, because they wanted to have some fun with Vanda. But Vanda didn't turn up. That's why they noticed her absence. And Peggy was a very popular girl in the school. The reason was that she used to sit with the toppers of the class. First thing. Second thing, she was very pretty. Third, she had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. Vanda Petronsky. Most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Allen. Already I told you that Vanda was from Poland. She was a Polish girl, so her name was unique. That is Vanda Petronsky. And these children were American, and most of the children have a very easy name. In room number 13, most of the children had a very easy name like Thomas, Smith, or Ellen, which is easy to pronounce. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So there was one boy in room number 13 whose name was Bounce, Willie Bounce, but that name also the children, they found it funny, but not that funny as Vanda's name. So they used to tease her for her name also. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So Vanda actually she didn't have any friend. Though these two girls used to wait for her, but they wait for their own selfish purpose. That was to have fun with her. So that's why they used to wait for her. So she used to come to school alone, and even she went home alone. And always she used to wear a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. Didn't hang right means didn't fit her well. Though the dress was very clean, but it didn't fit her well. And secondly, it didn't, and she never ironed that dress. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Why they talked to her? Just to make fun of her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So sometimes when she is sitting there in the school watching the other girls playing hopscotch, girls might be knowing this game how hopscotch. In our time it was known as Chuti Titi, Aad Ghar, something like that. And so she used to see girls playing those games, and the other girl used to come and surround her so that they can make fun of her. Vanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner as though she were talking to Miss Mason. So, finding her alone, the girls got the chance to mock at her. So, Peggy, in a very polite manner, she used to talk to her in a very polite manner as she's talking to her miss. She used to ask her, so how many dresses are hanging in your closet? So she would ask Vanda. So see, it is very clear that she is purposely making fun of her because she very well knows that she does not have many dresses, because everybody in the school, they are very well aware that she used to wear only one dress to the school. So the reply which Vanda gave, she said, 100 dresses. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. That means they were not ready to believe. In a very shocking way, they used to say, 100. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. All the girls, they would stop playing and they would listen what Vanda is saying, and they are really really surprised by, because by seeing Vanda, it was very obvious that she was not having this many dresses. Yeah, 100 all lined up, said Vanda. That means all the 100 dresses are hanging in the closet. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. Then she would, as it is mentioned that she was a very shy girl, so after saying this she used to stop or be quiet. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. So now they wanted to know the material of the clothes, of which material they are. So Peggy, in a mocking way, she said, I bet all those clothes are made of silk. Yeah, all silk, all colors. So Vanda replied, yes, of course, they are all made of silk and they are of different colors also. Velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Vanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. She said not only silk, there are velvet also, and of different colors, and they are all lined up in my closet. And she used to say this thing in a very calm, very little emotion. She was showing very little emotion to the girls. Then they would let her go. After asking, yeah, making fun of her, they would ask her to leave. And then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. So once they saw her leaving that place, they used to, in a mocking way, they used to laugh at her loudly, and peals of laughter means they used to burst in laughter. 100 dresses? Obviously. The only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So it came as an utter surprise to them that 100 dresses. How can she say that she is having 100 dresses? Because it is very obvious from her dress that she wore to school, that only she used to wear only one blue dress to school. So it was very obvious from that dress that she was not having many dresses. So why did she say she had 100 dresses? So they were very skeptical about it, that why she has to lie. What a story. Then in the same polite tone they used to ask her, how many pair of shoes are you having? So she used to say 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. So all of the girls, they laughed and they said all alike. That means all the shoes must be of, they look alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. So she said, no, no, all the shoes, all the pair of shoes is different from other, and I have shoes of many colors. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. So they used to make fun of her. Peggy and Maddie were the last one to leave that place. After that, Wanda would leave. So Peggy, she has started this game of questioning Wanda, and Maddie, she used to always accompany her because she was her best friend. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. So now, after them, Wanda was the last one to leave the place, and her eyes dull means it lacks liveliness, and her mouth shut. Every and hitching her shoulder means raising her shoulder in a very funny way every now and then, and she used to walk school all alone. Peggy was not really cruel. She was not a mean kind of girl because she never made Wanda cry. She never wanted to hurt Wanda. And why she was not mean girl, she was not cruel because she protected small children from bullies. So she always looked after the small children and protected them from getting bullied. And she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. So such kind of girl, we cannot think of her to be mean or a cruel. She would have been very surprised. Sorry, don't you think that it is a cruel way to treat Wanda? She would have been very surprised. So if anybody would come and ask her, "Ki, don't you think you are very rude to Wanda?" She, after hearing this question, she gets surprised. Cruel? Because according to her, she is not at all cruel to her. Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? So she thinks that it is very weird of Wanda to say that she is having 100 dresses. So this particular thought really disturbs us, that why she has to say a lie about her dresses, because anybody in the school can see and tell her that she is not having this much pair of dresses. Why did she want to lie? So she wanted to know exactly why, what is the reason behind this, why she is lying all the time about the dresses. And she wasn't just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that? And the weirder thing, according to Peggy, was her name, Vanda Petronsky. Anyway, they never made her cry. In spite of all this, doing this, asking questions and all, they never made Vanda cry. That means they were really not very harsh with her. As for Maddie, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. She was not liking this idea. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand me down. Hand me down means second hand clothes she used to wear. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggin's height or have a funny name, but she was really thankful to God that she does not, she does not live on Boggin's height. And secondly, she was poor, but not as poor as Vanda. Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand. That means she did not like this idea of making fun of Vanda, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dress game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. See, she used to wear the dresses given by Peggy. That's why she did not have the guts to speak against Peggy. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dress game. This is the reason she was always there with Peggy, but she never spoke against Vanda. And she was very, very, we can say that she was frightened that maybe if she will speak against Peggy, she might become her next target. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. So, really, from her heart, she wanted that Peggy should stop teasing Vanda. Today, even though they had been late to school, Mary was glad she had not had to make fun of Vanda. She worked her arithmetic problem absent mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Vanda how many dresses she has." So, so today she was very happy because Vanda was absent and she did not have to make fun of Vanda. And she was just pondering about, thinking about Vanda only, and in a very absent-mindedly she was doing herself her sums, and she was arithmetic sums, sorry, and she was very sure that she will never have the guts to speak against Peggy. So she decided that she will write a note to Peggy that, "Hey Peg, let's stop teasing Vanda." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly, she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Now, she just thought of writing a note to Peggy. Then she started thinking that if she would do so, she would be the next target of Peggy, and instead of Vanda, she would be standing in the middle, and the rest of the girls will be mocking at her. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress. That means that question game, that dress game, will again be started by Peggy, but this time the target will not be Vanda, but it will be Peggy if she will speak anything against Peggy. Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimming. Disguise means just to make just few changes in their dresses, and so some trimmings in the dresses of Peggy. I told you that she used to wear the dresses given by Peggy's mother with new trimming, so no one in room 13 would recognize her. So her mother used to do all the alteration, new designings with the clothes, so that nobody recognized that it is the same dress which was worn by Peggy. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Vanda. Oh well. Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. So now she wanted that those thoughts should go away. Now she is very pretty much sure now that it will be only stop if Peggy really wanted to stop this game. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. So, whatever she started writing, she tore the pages just because she did not have that much guts to say anything to Peggy. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy couldn't possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So, since she was her best friend, so she thought that Peggy can never go wrong. Whatever she's doing is right. As for Vanda, she was just a just some girl who lived up on Boggin's Side and stood alone in the school yard. And for Vanda, she used to think that she was not her best friend. She was just some other girl of the school who lives in Boggin's Height and stand all alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. "You would look like a Christmas tree in that," the girls had said in pretended ad- admiration. Thinking about Vanda are 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. So there was a drawing and coloring contest in the school, and after hearing Vanda's thought, she was really thinking that who is going to win the competition because Vanda has also participated in the competition. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motorboats. So this was the competition all about. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. So every year it was like that, only Peggy was winning the medal. So they were very, very sure that Peggy is going to win the medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. So everybody in the room number 13 used to think that Peggy's drawing is the best. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. So she was so uh, good at her drawing that she can copy the picture and you can easily recognize that person. So really, it's a good drawing. The good the people who are very good at drawing can do that. Not everyone. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they would know. The next day it was drizzling. Drizzling means it was pouring very lightly. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Vanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that is that far, far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill led to Bogginside. So it was quite far. So on such a rainy day, they don't used to wait for Vanda. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important as teacher was going to announce the result. Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today? Asked Peggy. So once they were inside the classroom, Peggy asked Maddie that, "Are you sure teacher is going to announce the result?" "Of course you will win, Peg." "Hope so," said Peggy eagerly. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. So they were surprised. As soon as they entered the class, there were drawings all over the room on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. So they were surprised to see that the classroom was full of drawing. Everywhere there was drawing, and they had a beautiful colors, beautiful designs, and they were drawn on a sheet of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, so at least 100 drawings were there lined up in the classroom. These must be the drawing for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. So they thought that it must be the drawing of the participant, those who have participated, and everybody were happy to see. They surprised also. They whistled after seeing those beautiful drawings. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Beggles had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room number 12, along with the sketches by all the other boys. So the winner was from the boys was announced. Jack Beggles was the winner, and his drawing was exhibited in room number 12 along with the drawings of other boys, sorry. As for the girls, she said, although just one or two sketches were submitted by most, one girl and room number 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs. So she said the number of girls, yeah, the girls who participated in the drawing, they only submitted one or two drawing, but one girl from room number 13, she submitted 100 drawings, and it is very obvious it's none other than Venda Petronsky. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, only one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Vanda Petronsky is the winner of girls' medal. So it was Vanda who won among girls. Fortunately, Vanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. So everybody applauded for her, but Vanda was absent from the school, so she could not see all these things. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now, class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawing. So she asked the children of the class to just to have go around and just see her beautiful drawing, extraordinary drawing. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor. See, it was the class of notorious boys. Though some of them they were really admiring the drawing, but the notorious ones they were stamping the feet, sorry, shoes on the floor. Stamping means जूते को बुला बुला के चलना, खूब आवाज के साथ. Put their fingers in their mouths and whistle, though they were not interested in dresses. They were interested in only doing mischief. Many of you, and in your class also, such kind of students are there. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There's that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? So she used to describe those, those dresses which she used, which she has drawn. She used to describe those color combination and everything. So she said, just look at that drawing she was telling us about that day. Yes, said Peggy, and here's that green one. Boy, and I thought I could draw. And after seeing her drawing, she was so surprised. She said that, oh, she is so good at drawing. I used to think I was the best one, but she is extraordinary. So children, never judge the book by its cover. It's a very good saying, very famous saying. Never judge the book by its cover. Now we are done with it. Now you have to write in your notebooks what you have learned from this chapter. For till then, it's already the video has to become too long. So sorry for that. Till then, please listen to the video carefully. Till then, have a great day. Take care.